let's just bring it back into part 2.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
You can't even say hello.
Oh, I'm sorry. I still don't think the mic works very well, so that's my bad.
It's
like I'm
working,
taking that into account that the mic's not working very well. So we're back off the rails, part 2. We're continuing the debate about Christianity and libertarianism. Is it compatible? And I have been pretty worthless most of the show, which is why Greg actually has the good mic now. You know it's bad when I'm even willing to give up a good mic. I always think that's actually kind of funny in and of itself that I'm willing to do that.
Well, I think it goes to show you how completely out of this conversation you actually are. Is that you're like, yeah, you could take the good mic.
Yeah, you know why though? I'll tell you why it is, and we talked about it out in the break, but I'll say it again. One of the reasons is because I really do not care, and I'm not saying I not care in a mean way or a bad way. I'm saying that look, at the end of the day, I really, and I know you're going to say, well, this was the teachings of Jesus, which may be why you're a Christian or not, but I look at it like, look, as long as people are good to each other, it doesn't matter what they do. Like if I was going to equate myself to a look, I believe that my political ideology and my religious ideology is one and the same.
You know, I actually do too. And that's what I think is, you know, and I think that's why people don't understand. You know, I actually just had this conversation with someone today. Because they're a libertarian now, but they were formerly a Democrat. And, you know, basically she had said, well, I guess, you know, Christians talk to Republicans better and, you know, liberal people who were, you know, Christian libertarians talk to Republicans better and, you know, liberals who are now libertarian talk to Democrats better. And I actually disagreed with her premise for a reason. I actually was a registered Democrat. And the reason why I was not because I wasn't a Christian, but because I was a Christian. Because I looked at the Democrat Party and was like, oh, they just want to help the poor and help the sick and feed people. And yeah, that's what my faith tells me I need to do. So I registered as a Democrat. And then I was like, oh, wait, you want to use force? Well, that's against everything I believe in. And the whole, you know, your math doesn't really add up, made me not be able to stay in that party. And then, of course, I looked at the GOP and they just wanted to regulate everybody's behavior. And I was like, well, you guys don't understand free will. So if you don't understand free will, then you don't match with my faith either. So as a Christian, I can't be a Democrat because you want to use force, and I can't be in the GOP because you don't understand free will. So I had like I was very politically active. You know, I had very strong political opinions, but I didn't really have a home because. And then when I took the world's smallest political quiz when I was 21. I was like, oh, well, what the hell is a libertarian? And when I read through it, it read through like my faith would read through. Like if I wanted to look at political issues and how me as a Christian would deal with that issue, it would be exactly the libertarian platform. So I kind of feel like my religion and my political views are one and the same.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I just think people yeah. Well,
I agree with that.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say at this point.
My religious and political
fact,
views are one and the same, and I'm not even a Christian.
And you're not a Christian.
But somehow they align together.
And I think that's what is a big kind of misnomer is that, you know, we see a lot of the religious right say, well, you know, you're in that party with libertarians with a bunch of atheists or a bunch of agnostics or a bunch of people who don't believe the same thing as you. And it's like, well, you're right. I do. I mean, I'm in a party where, you know, religion really isn't even talked about all that much. I mean, it's just not even an issue.
Quite frankly, you're better off avoiding it in the Libertarian Party.
Right.
You know, that actually brings up a question. That actually does bring up another question. A lot of times people that are Christians will claim that they are attacked in the Libertarian Party for believing for their faith. Do you think that's true or false, and why?
I think
you can turn me down.
I think it's true because there are a lot of atheists in the Libertarian Party, and the one thing atheists love more than fighting over politics is fighting over religion. So you bring up religion, and it's going to get talked about, and it ceases to become a libertarian or political conversation, and it's a religious conversation. And you have to be able to separate the two things. And the problem is a lot of people can't work with people who disagree with them. So it becomes an issue for them.
Now, and as much as I have had, backlash from a few people in the Libertarian Party, because there's no mistaking that I'm a Christian in the LP. I mean, there's nobody out there who knows me who wouldn't know that. I'm very much well known to be a Christian and a Libertarian. I don't hide that ever. But I don't use my religion to substantiate my political views either. I don't really feel like, although they're compatible, and they're the reason why I'm a Libertarian is because I'm a Christian. I also don't need to put the two in to talk to someone about my political views. And although some people have, because I'm a Christian, they know, and some people have, been not very accepting of that, I find the overwhelming majority to be very accepting of my views and very much, I have not ever felt attacked in the Libertarian Party as a Christian. And like I said, I'm very open about it. Everybody knows. And I have never really felt attacked.
I've seen people attacked.
Oh, so have I.
I might have even done it myself.
It happens all the time, but what it really comes down to is people who are able to deal with a difference of opinion and still work with those people and accept them as some sort of equal. Another problem is that when you're talking spiritual and politics, you're talking two completely different things. Mm-hmm. And most people are incapable of separating them. And I understand that because their political leanings and the things that they believe they should support in the political realm is based on their religious affiliation and what they've been taught to believe as far as that goes. So I understand why it's difficult to separate them, but they are dealing with two completely different things because politics deals with the mundane, the physical world, us as humans, which, as we all know, we are inherently flawed. All of us have our own problems. We make bad decisions. We have poor judgment, whatever you want to say. There are issues with the physical manifestation of a human. And the spiritual discussion is a completely different level. It's a transcendental level beyond the mundane. So if you're going to mix the two together, you're always going to have problems because you're taking a discussion that has to do with something that transcends the flesh and mixing it with something that's all about the flesh. And the two are completely different in a lot of ways. So it's always going to be an issue. Until there are no more humans, this discussion will go on. We will fight over it. We will debate, and things will be ugly, and we will disagree. It's never going to end. The only way it's going to end is for one position to kill everyone else off and have no one to argue with them. And there are people who actually have that plan.
I actually, and this is just from my own personal experience, I have felt more attacked because I worked for the Ron Paul campaign than I ever have because I'm a Christian.
And I've participated in that. I am more mad at libertarians who were working with the Republicans when they knew they were lying than I am at libertarians who are Christians.
And I like when I put it into context, because, asking me that question, I never really thought about it before. But when I put it into context, I felt much more attacked for working for the Ron Paul campaign than I ever have felt attacked for being a Christian. So I guess the moral of it all is as a Christian, you may be attacked in the Libertarian Party, but you'll be more attacked if you work with Republicans.
Here's the thing. You're going to get involved with libertarians. You just better count on being attacked.
For something, they'll post something.
Yeah, you're going to come up with an unpopular opinion. You're going to say something at some point that's going to piss off another libertarian. One thing that's pretty constant about all of us libertarians is we have no problem voicing our opinion.
We all have opinions and we all think we're right.
Yeah. So no matter what, you're going to hear an opposing opinion from a libertarian on just about anything. So if you feel attacked over your religion, just open your mouth about something else because you'll get attacked over that too.
I definitely, and I think, and this is one of my bigger, and why I really liked having this, why I really wanted to have this conversation is because I feel like as a Christian, I'm more attacked because of other Christians than because of myself. because I feel like there's, a lot of those other people, like a lot of the people on the right and, in the GOP and the religious kind of right are so judgmental and so, I want to use the stick of government to make you believe like I believe, that I get attacked for being one of them when actually I dislike them just as much as everybody else. I probably dislike them more because I get lumped in with them. Right. So and I actually have this conversation a lot where I say that, you're using a very skewed version of my faith to say that I'm like you. And, and I say this to Christian, basically, the very religious right of the GOP. I'm like, because they're like, why don't you, why are you in that party? Or like, why don't you agree with me? Because, you're a Christian. And I'm like, well, no, you're using a very skewed version of my faith to try to equate me with you. And I'm nothing like you.
Yeah.
And again, I don't, and I think that because... And I do understand there's a lot of atheists that say, you believe in this book and, you believe in every word of it and some of it is just off the wall and how can, that's a crazy story. And I think that because I don't take every single word literal, like I don't take a story completely literal word for word. And I think there's a lot of symbolism and a lot of things that I actually taught one of my classes that I taught as a children's pastor was the links between science and religion, the links between science and Christianity. And I don't think that you have to believe in just science or just Christianity. I think I think they both prove each other if you look at it, but you can't look at things as a very literal thing. Like when when the Bible says the earth was, everything was created in 7 days. Well, we're the ones that defined what a day is.
Our day is defined by how long it takes for the Earth to spin on its axis. A day is different on every planet.
On every planet. So we're saying, and an atheist will say, well, that's ridiculous. The Earth wasn't created in 7 days, and we know that. Well, you're right. Because you're taking it to mean what your definition of day is. But if you look at science, the Earth was created in 7 equal segments. So when you look at 7 equal segments and 7 days, well, just understand that a day to you may not be the literal day meant in the Bible. It just meant 7 equal denominations of time.
And the thing is, science can be just as flawed as religion is anyway, because science is all science is only as good as the people performing it.
Right.
And what we get a lot of times with when it comes to religion and science and, trying to prove religion, that's the problem. You get religionists who become scientists so they can try and prove their religion right. And they're not practicing science. They're coming up with a point that they're now trying to prove.
Right.
And so they're going to find the evidence that they're looking for. You're always going to find what you're looking for. It doesn't matter what it is you're looking for, because that's what you're going to see in everything that you look at. You're looking for something in particular. Eventually, you're going to find it. No matter how absurd it is, you're going to find a justification to support your conclusion that you've already come to before you even started.
Well, I think that even, not even in science and religion and things like that, but there's a lot of, there's a lot of conspiracy theories that are considered conspiracy theories that are crazy, that are actually completely true. But I think sometimes we can go down a road where we're always looking for the conspiracy, so we find the things that make it look like something it's not. You know what I'm saying? I think sometimes, because you're right, you'll always find what you're looking for. Mm-hmm. So I think when you look at everything like, oh, well, it was some, made up, contrived thing that happened because of this, evil other plan, you're always going to find the evidence of that because that's what you're looking for. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of that stuff is true. And I agree with you. A lot of it is, but not everything is.
And quite frankly, that's why I trust agnostics to get the explanations over anybody else.
Because they question everything.
Yeah, because they're not starting with a conclusion. They're saying, I don't know, so let's figure it out.
Absolutely nothing.
So to me, an atheist and a Christian are no different when they're starting out, because an atheist is trying to prove there's nothing. Right. A Christian is trying to prove they're God. And the agnostic is at least starting out with, I don't have a conclusion. I don't know what's going on. Let's try and figure it out.
Yeah, I don't know if either one of you are right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had no idea.
We have so gone over Alex's head.
Well, you have.
He's far too agnostic. He's like, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't even want to know anymore. Like, are you guys still talking? Are we here? Like,
Actually, I was reading something going back and forth about libertarianism and socialism and all this other kind of stuff. And, you know, it's just good to know that there's some people that we see on a pretty regular basis and how they actually feel.
oh,
And I got to tell you, it's not very nice.
oh, I'm sure we're gonna hear about that soon.
Nah, not right now, but we'll stick with the subject at hand because I'm about to go for hellfire and brimstone then. So, I really don't want to do that right now. But I'm actually pretty
At least you've got the broken mic. If you're going to do it now.
Yeah, right?
You can't break it any
I'll break
worse.
it the rest of the way.
Now's the time to rant. That's the broken one, anyways. No, I actually have this conversation a lot with people because I really, you know, like, there's always those sticking points on why people can't vote for a libertarian. And you always hear, like, and even liberty Republicans, and I hate that they even use that word, because if you're in the Republican Party, you don't actually believe in liberty. It's just kind of like one of those things like, oh, that'd be nice. You know? That's kind of a cool concept.
We'll take the side effect if it works, but I'd quite frankly keep bombing brown people.
But, you know, you'll even hear that from, like, these liberty or libertarian-leaning Republicans, whatever they want to call themselves. They always use, like, there's always, like, those deal-breaker issues, and it's always, like, the religious, you know, well, no, you know, it's because of abortion and gay marriage. Well, number one, we don't believe that government should be involved in any marriage, that, you know, you should be free to love whoever you want to love, and government really shouldn't play a role in that. It's like, you know, I don't think that anyone should have to go to government to ask permission to love someone.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty silly.
Quite frankly, none of you have any say on where I put my penis. I can put it anywhere I want, and it is none of you guys' responsibility to determine that. No law you can make is going to stop me if I want to anyway. She totally did not expect me to put that
I didn't expect you to go there.
Yes, it all broke down. But I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
I know.
Whatever justification they're using, they just want to be able to tell you what you can do.
Well, and I always put it to the fact, especially on something like gay marriage, where you have all these, like, no, we have to, you know, we have to stop this, you know, these homosexuals from getting married. And it's like, if you make that law, do you honestly think that that's going to stop people from being gay? Or do you actually think that's ever going to stop a person from living with a partner of the same sex? Ever? Do you ever think that your law, is it stopping it now?
No.
No. So it's not ever going to stop that. So I don't understand the need for the law. The law isn't going to change anything.
And then you look at the disconnect in these laws that they're making, because in most of these states where gay marriage has already been banned, it's not illegal to marry your cousin. You can marry your cousin, just not your gay cousin. And when you start seeing those things, you really understand that these people are not thinking things through clearly. They are certainly not thinking properly, and they're not using their brains.
Well, and yeah, and that's the thing. And then the other one is always abortion. And that's like the, you know, I'm involved in this one group on Facebook, actually. And some of the people in there, I absolutely love to death. You know, I mean, they really are trying to do the right thing. They really, really are. But they have some members in there that just use the, you know, stick of religion for everything. And the big debate, and it's almost like a debate on, like, you know, taxes can turn into a debate on religion. You know, like, there's just a couple people who always bring it back to abortion. And that's what I meant, abortion. So you could be like, you know, wow, there's a big puffy cloud up there. And they're like, you want abortion.
It looks like an aborted fetus. It's all your fault.
So they bring everything back to abortion. And this is the one where I actually am not Christian enough for Christians, and I'm not libertarian enough for libertarians. Like,
I gotta hear this.
I'm like this point in the middle that, like, everybody hates.
Here's the great thing is that I want you to make that point, but I want to lay a foundation here. The great thing about the Libertarian Party is if you want to have the discussion about abortion, that's the only place you can have it.
Right.
The abortion issue is the litmus test for the other two parties. If you are not 100% against abortion, you're not welcome in the Republican Party. If you are not 100% in favor of women being allowed to get abortions, you are not welcome in the Democrat Party. If you are unsure on this issue, you think it's still open for debate, you want to hear other ideas, you better go to the Libertarian Party because it ain't happening in the other two.
And I think most libertarians, when you hear abortion, go,
Oh, not again. Not this conversation again. Because in libertarian circles, man, that conversation comes up. And the thing is, there are good, reasonable discussions on both sides of this issue that are made by libertarians. And I've heard many of them where I'm like, wow, normally I disagree, but you put it in a way that makes me go, I kind of agree with that. But if you want to be involved in that conversation, that's the only place you're going to have it.
Because, and all of us go, please, not that one. But, and this is my view on abortion, and this is as a Christian. I believe that I can't force any person to take care of someone else, ever. And because of that, and because up until the point of viability, a fetus cannot live outside of that particular person's body, that I cannot count that as a life, and that I can't force that person to take care of someone else because they're the only ones that can do it. And if it's not for them, if something happens to them, that is not a life. I believe it has to be legal up to the point of viability. Now, after the point of viability, I do actually consider it to be murder because you aren't forced to take care of that child. You could actually have a family come in. It's a viable, baby, and a family could come in, a hospital staff, a charity, anyone could come in and take care of that child without you being involved. And at that point, if you end that, I have to consider it a life and I have to consider it murder. But that also makes me hated by libertarians and hated by Christians because of that stance.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I remember going on Ledge's show, and that was, and it really sucked too, because that was, it actually started me hating that guy, what was his name? Brad what?
Freeman.
Brad Freeman, yeah, from Brad's blog.
Yeah.
He's such a dick, by the way.
Yes.
That guy was such a dick. He couldn't even and the thing was, the guy didn't even really want to have an honest conversation. I really don't even understand why Ledge has this guy on the show every week. I really don't understand why this guy has him on the show, because Brad is nothing but an MSNBC talking points punk bitch. He really is. This guy is one of the worst guys in the world, and could not fathom your point of view
at all
on that debate.
Yeah.
And it was because he just won because he's an idiot,
yeah.
Because he was just a dumb guy to begin with. But never mind. Go into something else because
I want to kind of go off of what you were talking about there. I don't want to get into my feelings on it and how I think things should be, because I don't think I know it all and have the right answer here.
Right.
But here's a big problem I have with the people whose primary point of argument is that life starts at conception. Okay, if that's your argument, you have a lot of structural changes in society to make, because I don't have a conception certificate. I have a birth certificate.
Right.
I don't celebrate my conception day. I celebrate my birthday. And you might see where I'm going with this. There is a lot for you to change for society and our understanding of life and structure as a whole before you can prove to anybody that life starts at conception and this is how we're measuring it. Because it quite frankly, it doesn't. It does not. What starts at conception is mitosis.
Right.
Cells start splitting. You at least have a few days before you can get to anything else. And you have quite some time where it could just stop and not work. Mm-hmm. We call it a miscarriage, and there are many reasons for it. And that's why we don't celebrate conception. That's why I don't have a conception day. You can't really measure it, and you're not really sure that it's going to happen at that point.
Right.
And I've said this before. A lot of people don't like it. I would say probably 99% of people do not like this statement. I really don't care. This is how I see it. Until it's viable and living on its own, it is a parasite. It is dependent on another life form to actually have a life. And as far as I'm concerned, the parasite's rights do not trump the rights of the host. Until it can live on its own, it does not have its own rights. It is dependent on what the host says. If the host makes a decision, the parasite has to deal with it. I know people don't like looking at it that way. It's kind of cold. It's kind of callous. I know mothers really have a problem with that. But I've actually had a few who have come around and not publicly, but privately said, you know, those last 2 months, it was a parasite, and it felt that way, and I wanted nothing more than to get it out. You know, sometimes they'll come around and they'll understand that point of view, but
Yeah, well, and
Damn.
I do understand the thinking behind it, although I wouldn't probably use those words. I mean, you know, because you said the last 2 months and things like that. I believe that if a child can live outside the body, then you can't kill it. And at viability, it can. Whether you choose to do that or not is, you know, different. But as long as it could be a life that wasn't relying on one person in particular, and that is the point of viability. Babies are born really early all the time and can live outside the mother. So I can't see it at that point of being a parasite, like you put it. Even though it may, you know, to have the best chance, it may need more time in the womb. As soon as it wouldn't have to be there, it's a life to me.
but it's also not necessarily going to live just. It's not going to live the way that a child that's born is. It can't just go to breastfeeding and be okay. There is a lot that it's basically still dependent on others to keep that life.
But that can be a dependent that's voluntary. That dependency is voluntary.
And that's fine. I'm not.
Because a 2-year-old is still dependent on parents, but it's voluntary.
Yeah, I mean, here's the biggest point, which I'm going to go back to because I've already said it.
Right.
Abortion, the debate on abortion is not over. No
Oh,
matter what
no.
anybody says,
Yeah.
it is not over. And if you want to be involved in the conversation and shape what the future could potentially be for abortion, the only place you're going to get to do that is the Libertarian Party.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. It's a foregone conclusion what you believe when you're involved in the other two parties, and that's their litmus test.
Well, and they use it
Why?
as a way to shore up the base.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because listen, because it's the deal breaker for many of the religious right in the Republican Party, candidates and politicians have learned that they can be horrible as long as they say they're pro-life. And they will keep getting the votes even though the people voting for them hate them. Well, I have to vote for them, they're pro-life. And the same thing on the Democrat side.
Yeah. We heard that locally and for a state house race here
Yeah.
in Florida. By the way, a state house race that would have nothing to do with abortion.
Well, yeah, a state house position has nothing to do with abortion. You can't change anything at the state house level, really, anyway. And ultimately, even the ones who have the ability to do that don't change anything.
Right.
We haven't
They
had
don't.
any changes in abortion law in the United States at the federal level since Roe v. Wade.
Right.
And so every Republican who has earned a vote, if you're listening, and you have given a vote to a Republican because they said they were pro-life, you got your vote stolen, and you are a sucker and an idiot because they did nothing. They have done nothing at all since
And
Roe v. Wade.
They're
They
not
have no
going to do
plans
anything. Right.
There is nothing that's going to change.
No. And the same thing on the Democrat side. Don't get me wrong. On the Democrat side, you can be a horrible candidate as long as you say you're pro-choice. And then it's like, oh, well, they believe in women's rights. What? You know, but that's the way it is. Like they can be horrible people and horrible legislators and horrible politicians. But as long as they fall on the right side of the abortion issue, their base is like, well, I gotta vote for them.
I would argue that the abortion debate, the fact that the way that people vote on it, the way the politicians have used it, has caused more damage in this country and has gotten more people killed.
Than abortion
Than
itself.
abortions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you.
That really is one of those things because here's the thing. People like Santorum should have never been in political office and was only there because of that. Mm-hmm. And Santorum is a despicable human being.
And
he might even be a nice guy normally. Race to the top, Iran, Iraq wars, Afghanistan, thousands of people lost their lives. Our foreign policy over the last, decades. is all because of people like Santorum who are able to hide behind the cloak of religion, and those people do give religion a bad name.
Yes.
Again, I'm not here to bash, but the funny part is that the reason that the bashing happens is because of the people that you've propped up.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't have propped up just evil MFers like Santorum, we wouldn't have a problem. And when they use religion in a way which, like, and I'm sure people are gonna, Santorum's going to hell. If there is a hell, if like there's a heaven and a hell, Santorum's not going to heaven. Santorum's going to hell. And he's going there with a lot of other people who are supposed to be considered people of faith. Because if there is one, I'm telling you, Santorum's in the lake of fire, and he's gonna have his little floaties on in his lake or whatever, or whatever.
When the
Santorum
floaties
does.
pop,
He's gonna
though,
have
in
his
the
sweater
fire.
on. He'll have a sweater on that'll be attached to him for the rest of his life because it'll be like sucked on or whatever.
His sweater vest.
His sweater vest, but that guy's going to hell. Just for the record.
See, and I think you made a great point there. There's not I don't know of anybody who hates Jesus, but I know a lot of people who hates everyone who thinks they are.
Right.
When you think you're Jesus, when you think you are the purveyor of all wisdom and that you're the one who should be telling everybody what to do, there's a lot of people who hate that. I mean, I know atheists, I know Jews, Muslims. I don't know anybody who hates Jesus.
Right. The actual person,
Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean, worst thing you could say, he didn't shower. He's kind of a smelly hippie, but I mean, that's really it. How can you hate Jesus? You can't. Nobody hates Jesus. They hate the people who think they're Jesus.
The people who use Jesus as a way to judge others.
Yeah.
Well, I think the Jews at the time didn't like Jesus very much.
Well,
Well, at the time, yeah.
Or the Romans, I guess you could say, because people get all mad when you say.
Well,
it.
and I had a pastor.
The Romans didn't like him. Let me just say that.
I had a pastor years ago that said, people aren't Christians because number one, they've never met a Christian, or number two, they've met a Christian. Mm-hmm. And it was probably one of the truest statements I've ever heard someone say. And his basic reasoning is, more people turn away from Christianity because of Christians than any other reason there is, because there's a lot of people who just use it as a way to hit people over the head with a stick, which it was never meant to be.
yeah. And it's a statement that makes total sense if you understand it.
Right.
Because they've never met a Christian, because you're not going to find many. There aren't a whole lot of people that actually live up to what Jesus taught.
There's some tribal areas in some country that
I actually know two people in my life who make a concerted effort to live their life the way that Jesus taught. They reject the church. They reject all the power structures, and all they do is follow what Jesus taught. And they are good people, and I admire them because they live wonderful lives, helping people, loving the people around them. Both of them are libertarians.
Well, yeah, and I don't even understand how you could be anything else. Like,
Exactly.
I really look at, like, if you really, really, really believe in the teachings of Jesus, I don't know how you can be anything but a libertarian. And now I do say, because I actually do belong to a church. I have a, really great supportive church family. I don't really get to go there very often because we travel a lot. But I do keep up with everybody, and we talk quite a bit. And, the thought is always, they're very non-political, although if you were to ask them how they felt politically, everybody in there would say I'm a libertarian. But they believe, and this was the rationale, is that Jesus never got involved in the church. He actually despised the organized religious part of the church that was there. But not only did he not get involved with the church, and he even said, I'm here to break down the walls of the church. He stayed completely out of government. And I mean stayed completely out of it. So, and this was the same pastor had always said, people thought that Jesus was there for a revolution. So they were like, great, that, he's going to rid us of government and all these, archaic laws and all this other stuff. And then he never got involved in government. But he still brought on the revolution. It was just a different time. It was just a different kind, because Christians are not meant, like, the church wasn't meant to be the government, and it wasn't meant to transform the government. The church is meant to do what the church is meant to do, and that's counsel the people, help the people, be in the community, build a good structure for people to come to, but not legislate people. The church was never made for that. And I think Jesus not ever getting involved in government. I mean, Jesus could have gone to Caesar or, and everybody and been like, no, you need to enact these laws. But he didn't, because that wasn't what the church was meant to do. The church was meant to be loving, accepting, forgiving, and help everybody.
And I think that, again, comes back to his teachings, which I can't give you specific verses and quotes here.
Right.
But, again, we're not here for the kingdom of men. And I'm not here to teach men how to rule over men. I'm here to tell you that God rules over you, and you need to love God.
Right.
And that's the thing. Government is men ruling over men. And if you want to get involved in that game, you can get involved in that game. Just understand there is no spiritual calling here.
Right.
In my understanding, there is no God anywhere under any belief system that gives a damn how you think you should rule everybody else. Men ruling men is not the concern of gods, because they think it's their concern to rule over us. So Jesus was not a political activist. He did not care about government, because government is irrelevant. Governments rise and fall. None of the governments that were around in his time are still around today, and the governments that are around today are not going to be around in another 2,000 years. So governments are transient. If you believe in God, that you believe in a divine being that is omnipotent and omniscient and is everlasting, then that is much more stable than believing in a government. And Jesus understood that. Most people understand that. Governments rise, fall, come, and go. But God is always going to be there. That was his point. That's why you don't need to worry about the government.
I can't believe I actually got you for a full 2 hours to just say that, Christianity's right.
I'm not saying Christianity is right. I'm saying that it is fully compatible with libertarianism, and there is no other political philosophy that's compatible with Christianity.
Yeah. No, definitely.
I mean, if you want to get into the vagaries of Christianity itself, I reject the whole thing. It's all absurd to me. I quite frankly, I debate whether or not Jesus is actually real. I think that he's an amalgamation of a lot of different sons of God from the area. I mean, you got to remember, this is a book from Bronze Age goat herders that believed in every superstitious, scary thing. On the other side of the horizon were dragons and illnesses that we have eliminated that don't even exist on this planet anymore. Were demon possession. I mean, you cannot trust people from that time frame to have a complete understanding of all that is and all that will ever be. You just can't. It's absurd. I think they had pieces. They understand little parts of it. They had some good philosophies in there. But if you think that the Bible is the end-all, be-all, we're never going to have any better understanding of anything ever, you're just as absurd as the Bronze Age goat herders from back then.
And I do actually agree that that people who take it absolutely word for word literal, especially when you realize the difference in languages from when it was originally written to English, I think that is absurd.
Yeah. All right, this is completely off topic.
Okay.
But let me give people a hint of advice.
You stumbled onto something.
If you want to be my Facebook friend, maybe I should give this as tips for you. Okay, we're going off the rails. If you post anything ever about David Horowitz, I will defriend you and delete you instantly. I will block you. If you even put that Marxist up, that Trotskyite piece of crap up, if you ever post anything about David Horowitz, I will block you and delete you. Just for the record.
Not even criticisms?
No, I'm not even going to argue with you. There's no argument
No,
that's
what if
had.
they criticize
if I post David Horowitz is an asshole, are you going to block me?
That better be up there. If you do the blink blank, you're done.
So just a link, bad. But hey, look what this douchebag just said.
Yeah, there's a couple other people that fit this bill too, by the way.
Okay, who?
Pamela Geller. The one that's Atlas Shrugged 2001. Mm-hmm. I actually met her, by the way. She does look like she's been rode hard and put away wet. Just for the record. I do not like that woman whatsoever. So her, David Horowitz, I think just those two. You might, depending on what you say about Pam Geller, you may not. Horowitz, though, I'm really looking to get you, and I better find something that makes me not want to do it. I hate David Horowitz. He's a goddamn commie. He was a commie. And now he thinks he's a conservative. He's like the Marxist. He was a Marxist turned conservative. In all reality, he's a neocon. But he's the proof. He's like the missing link. Like, if you want to know, like,
He's the political missing.
he's still a Marxist. He just adjusted his tone. And his
If
tune.
you want to know how the Republicans got to become communists, David Horowitz is your
Oh,
example.
or Bill, if you think Bill Kristol's a good guy, if you ever write anything positive about Bill Kristol,
What about his
Billy
dad?
Crystal's hilarious, man. I loved him in City Slickers.
I'm not talking about that guy. Actually, pretty much, look, anything on Weekly Standard, most of those guys I don't like. I mean, that is the neocon think tank for the world, and those
Right.
guys were Trotskyites too. So I know I'm going off the rails with this, but I'm going through Facebook here and I'm looking at this and I'm like, ugh, Horowitz? No, out of here. I thought I got rid of all you people already. You know, like I have taken a whole new viewpoint of Facebook.
He totally interrupted our discussion on God's love with who he hates.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
I'm kidding.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't paying attention.
Anyway, it's Facebook tips on how to be a friend with Alex.
Or how to not get blocked. If I had 20 friends, that's all I wouldn't even care. And here's the thing. I'm not even trying to delete you or try to change your mind. I do not view Facebook as a way to spread the message. I view it as a way to organize with those of like mind. Don't care. I want to. Here's the thing. People go, well, you only want to talk to people that you agree with. Yep, I do.
On Facebook? Yeah.
And I will block you and I will defriend you off the drop of a hat. Almost did it today with somebody. Luckily, they backed off and they said something nice, and I'm like, okay, all right, you're good.
There's a
You
lot
saved,
of
you saved yourself today.
there's a lot of times where during the day Alex will turn to me and be like, if someone posted about Jeb Bush, do you think that's automatic grounds to delete them? Or like it'll be like some, if someone posts about and whatever it is, do you think that should be automatic grounds to delete them?
But it was your mom. I don't care.
I'll defriend my mom.
Most people are looking for an excuse to defriend their mom on Facebook.
No, it's
I'm not normally looking for a reason.
no, I like Patty, but but that is a Alex he's getting higher and higher standards for who can be his friend on Facebook, and he deletes over very small items sometimes.
He's one of the most elitist libertarians I've ever met.
When it comes to his Facebook page, he is.
Dude, I have blocked so many people, it's not even funny anymore. I have literally... Here's the thing, because I keep all my settings at the most free possible. So the only way that I can get rid of people is by blocking them.
Right.
Because I have my settings so high.
Right, because they can still see your posts, they can still comment, all of that. Mm-hmm. The only thing you can do is block them.
Yeah.
I was looking at this list of people that Alex
Are you
has up
looking
that
at his
he's
block
blocked.
list?
There's the block list. If you can see the
like,
block list. Like it's,
You
gotta
can't see
scroll
it
a
on
little
one
bit.
page. Like
It's-
he has
Oh,
to
no,
keep scrolling.
It takes 4 or 5 pages.
Wow.
And like do you want me to go down some of the names? You want me to go down
No.
some of the names? Oh.
Only the
I'm sorry.
choice ones. Give us the really good ones. The ones that everybody will know.
Let me see here. Joshua Black's on the list. Spence is on the list.
Those aren't people everybody would know.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
I'm
don't
sorry.
even
Let
know
me
who
see
you're
here.
talking about.
There was somebody I just blocked the other day that was famous, though, I think. Hang on here. Let me see. Keep going. Pamela Geller's on Facebook, so I blocked her.
Probably without even friending her. He
No,
just saw
yeah,
the
he
name.
just-
and-
he saw the
No,
name.
because at one point I friended a lot. Dave Knoll, maybe people may know it. Debbie Schlussel. You know who I'm talking about, right? You know who I'm talking about? She's from Michigan.
Yeah, Debbie does.
I did her. You know what?
politics.
You know what I did for her. You know what I did the other day. You know why she lost. I'm gonna tell you exactly why she lost.
She lost.
Because she posted some crap about the guy from Fast and Furious and said it in such a negative way that it was like, and I don't even care. Like I could care less. Like I think the guy was a not even a really good actor, to be honest with you. He was like all he did was Fast and Furious,
Yeah.
and everything else was B-roll.
He was a passable actor in barely passable movies.
Yeah,
But he was
she
a
such
humanitarian.
but she was such a bitch about it that it was like, you know what, man, screw you, you're out. The only reason she wrote about it was because she wanted somebody to, pay attention to me, so I'm going to talk bad about somebody. Wes Benedict.
You blocked Wes Benedict.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wes Benedict.
For anyone who doesn't keep up on, the whole Libertarian Party structure and that, Wes Benedict is the executive director of the Libertarian Party.
Of National Party.
He's
the
like one of
entire
the highest
national.
people in the party.
Right.
Yeah.
And Alex has blocked him. You've actually had Wes blocked for quite a while.
Yeah, Wayne Allen Root, by the way, on the other
Well,
side.
every libertarian worth their salt has blocked Wayne Allen
Blocked
Root.
Wayne Allen Root.
on.
Let's see who else is on this list that would be.
The guy's name is an acronym for war. That's all you need to know about this guy.
Tony Styles is blocked.
Oh, you blocked Tony Styles.
Yeah. Here's the reason. The reason I blocked Tony Styles is that I've talked to a couple other people that had such a problem with Tony Styles.
Yes.
That I'm like, I don't even want to see his crap then.
I actually have defriended Tony Styles as well because he has really done some good friends really wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. He did some people we knew really, really wrong. So I'm like, and here's the thing. I don't know enough to get into the conversation about it, like to go do something about it.
Right.
So I'm just like, I'm just going to block you then.
Yeah.
And he may not give a crap at all, and I could care less if he gives a crap or not. I just don't want to see him. Like, again, Lloyd Marcus, he's blocked.
Oh, blocked. I thought you said
Yeah.
he's black.
No, he's blocked. Lloyd Marcus is blocked. I'm trying to look to see if there's any names that people would know, though. Oh, God, and going through the names, like, these are a lot of people that Darren Ayers is blocked. You don't know who that is. You
I
would
know who that is.
You know who
and
that
I know
is.
why Darren's blocked, I think.
And we helped out his campaign.
I
Yes.
know. That's what's funny.
You know?
I was actually in studio the day that he was in studio.
Don't go. You know what it is. He went the wrong way. And to be
He
honest
did.
with you, he was a horrible candidate to begin with.
Yeah, he was.
Lazy candidate. Another guy that used religion as a cloak.
Yep.
The Florida Liberty Summit is blocked.
He's so-
They made a person page for the Florida Liberty Summit and blocked it. Which I think is funny. Roberta Cutting is blocked. If you don't know who that is, that was another person that was running for office.
yeah.
Steve Simon's blocked. I think that's about it, though. That's about it. Those are probably all the big names. Mike Church is blocked. Forgot about that.
I love that you've blocked Wes Benedict.
Yeah,
I
that is
mean-
funny.
Oh, he's been blocked for a long
for
time.
a long
It's-
time.
It just shows. I mean, one of the things that
It
Alex
shows you
and
how
I
libertarian I am.
Yeah, Alex and I have talked about this for a while, and we both agree that the Libertarian Party is just the party we hate the least.
Yeah.
Neither of us are really fond of.
And sometimes that's
parties
just
and-
barely.
Yeah,
I hate rules.
both of us have been like on the edge of saying, "Man, fuck these guys," to the people that are our allies. So
We've actually said that to them. I'm this close from saying "fuck you guys."
But I mean, it just shows that how hardcore Alex is in that vein, that he has Wes Benedict blocked.
Well,
I don't even want to see what you got to say, Wes. I don't want to see your comments in other people's threads. Nothing.
I won't respond or reply to any email or any communication that man has.
The-
If he wants to talk to somebody in Florida, he better find somebody else to talk to.
And-
because
and
he ain't talking to me.
I will attest to this. There's a lot of times where LP National has to get approval from the officers of the executive committee of a state party before they can do something, and Alex will not respond. So, like Dana
I'll
responds,
go to Dana and say, Dana, yeah, I'm okay with that.
and Dana will respond. I'll respond. Lim will respond. Nothing comes from Alex. He refuses to respond to Wes Benedict.
Yeah, I won't respond. We'll keep going.
Okay.
But
Keep going.
that
I will not respond to Wes Benedict.
that is-
He should not have the position he has right now. Should not have it. He should not be the executive director. Carla Howe would have been was a great
She
executive
was a great
director.
executive
I was
director.
about to renew my membership to the LP when Carla was going to be. I was thinking about it. I'm like, well, I don't know, because I dropped my membership to National because I just don't.
because you don't like Wes
I don't like them.
Benedict.
I don't like anything they have going on up there. I liked Carla. Carla
I
was
did
starting
like
to turn
Carla.
me around on it. I mean, really was starting to turn me around on it. And then when they did what they did, and they were so dirty in how they did it, like they were so secretive about
Yeah.
how it all went down. And it's just one of those things that you're just like, oh, you know what, guys? Screw you. Again, you're going to put Wes back in charge? Okay, I got nothing to do with you. And all I'm going to say is this. God help you in 2016 when you bring that convention here. God help you.
I thought you
Because
don't know
I'm
if
not-
there's a
because
God.
I'm not going to help you. And what I'm going to do at the convention in 2016 is going to make you people so pissed off, it ain't even funny.
But he's not
Reckoning
gonna violate
is a
the
co-
NAP.
I'm
He's
gonna
not
violate the
talking
NAP.
about violating
I'm
the
not talking
NAP.
about violence. I'm not talking about violence. I'm talking about removal
Yeah. Well,
through the legal process that we're allowed to do. All of you guys are. I'm coming in 16 because you're going to be in my state then, and we're going to show you what it means in Florida in 2016. You're coming to Florida. Already know you are. You can't back out now. It's too late. Just know, I will have we will have the largest voting block in Florida, and there's not a damn thing you're going to do about it. And most of the other states are going to love what we're wanting to do anyway. Just know your time's come. West Benedict, you have till 2016 in the position you're in. After that, you're gone, and it will be very unceremonious.
I can't wait for this.
I do have to say that anyone who accuses Alex of not being principal over party only has to look at his blocked list to know how ridiculous that is. Because he is, I mean, he'll block whoever from our party, with outside of the party, it doesn't matter. Alex will block you.
I got 3 members of the EC of the state of Florida blocked.
He does. Although I have to say, I also have some members of the EC block. But not only, because a lot of times, like sometimes I'm
Actually,
still.
one of them is getting unblocked today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one of them's back in the fold.
Oh. Well,
I just did it just now.
I'm not gonna, I'll ask who it is after we get off. But sometimes I'm signed in on whatever device he goes in when he's mad at someone, and he blocks that person.
On your profile.
And it ends up being on my profile. So all of a sudden I'm like, man, I can't see. And I forget who it was. Like at one point it was like, someone. And I was like, man, everyone's talking about this post that this person made and I can't see it. And I'm like, I don't understand why I can't see it. He's like, well, I have them blocked. And I'm like, well, I didn't block anyone. There I go, my block list.
I blocked them for you.
Now, sometimes he will get so mad at someone that he will sign into my account and block them on purpose.
Yeah. Just so I can block them multiple times. Like one block wasn't enough for me. I had to do it twice.
It felt so good. I got to do it again.
He's
Yeah.
like, not only can they not see what he posts, but they're not allowed to see what I post, those bastards.
Yeah.
That's how mad he gets.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie.
He does.
Again, I do not view Facebook as a way in which to change people's minds. And if you're some of the people that are on that list, you are not on the same side as me. You're just not. You want to try to say you are, but I know you're a liar, so I know you're not. I mean, I already know you're lying. You're lying about it. You're saying it to most, and a lot of these people are just pro GOPers. I mean, that's the one thing that gets you blocked quicker than anything else.
Yes, if you go on there and that was a conversation, like I'm not even exaggerating. He was like, anything that you post about Jeb Bush, that's grounds for removal, right?
If you post anything positive about Jeb Bush, you're done.
And I was
Gone.
like, well, I would think so. And he's like, okay, good.
Get blocked.
Blocked.
Some people get back. Every once in a while though, I'll get back and I'll be like, oh, okay, so, all right, I'll unblock you.
He does go through the list and reevaluate, although most people do end up staying on it. Now, Wes Benedict, he's been on there for a long time.
Yeah. I thought after he was gone we wouldn't have to deal with him again, but but obviously we do though.
Well, you just refuse.
Look at this woman,
I can't see anything. I don't have my glasses on.
Nevada Assemblywoman. Let's read this. Liberty News. So this is a damn. I mean, I shouldn't even say this out loud, but man. Nevada Assemblywoman says she carries a firearm like my panties and bra. Admits to carrying firearm in gun-free zone.
Shouldn't she be arrested? Isn't that what happened to Adam Kokesh?
Yes.
They didn't
Yeah.
catch him in the act. They just know that he was
They
doing it.
know that he
so
did it.
She confessed. Arrest her.
Yeah.
It's so
That's
irks
ridiculous.
me. Here's another thing that really irks me, by the way. Just not to get into it too much, but let me just say, if you're a Republican, just be a Republican, man. Don't be. You're not a liberty-minded political consultant. You're a Republican, all right? Just be the Republican, man. You're faking people. Quit faking people.
You know what I hate are the Republicans that pretended to be allies to libertarians but never really were, or switched over for a short period of time after the Ron Paul campaign and then immediately switched back to Republican, or didn't even switch back but they're still Republican shills. Those are the ones that drive me the most nuts because, like you said, you're just a Republican. Shut up. Go back to your party. Stop pretending to speak for libertarians. Stop pretending to know what libertarians are thinking, because you were never one. And you weren't really welcome because of that.
That really does bother me, is when most people, and I actually see this a lot, in fact, I was just dealing with it today, is that, someone says something about the Libertarian Party, generally nice, and in favor of the Libertarian Party, and all of a sudden they're getting blasted by these people saying, well, they believe this and they believe that, and you want to be one of those people like Rand Paul, or you like the Koch brothers, and it's like, you get that those guys are all Republicans, right?
Yeah.
And see, that's the worst part. That's why I hate the people that are not libertarians calling themselves libertarians,
Yes.
or being the media's portrayal of a libertarian, like Glenn Beck and Bill Maher.
Right.
Those are great examples because they both claim to be libertarian,
Right.
and neither of them are libertarian at all. One's a liberal, one's a conservative, one's a Democrat, one's a Republican. They are not libertarians. But you say, oh, well, this is what libertarians believe, and they're using Glenn Beck, And I get so many liberals that, like, on my page, that want to insult libertarians and then hold up a Republican as the example. And I'm like, no.
No, you got it all wrong.
That's like the whole thing with the Cuccinelli campaign. Right. One of my Democrat, very liberal friends posted the article about Cuccinelli wanting to ban blowjobs and said, see, this is what will happen if you put these libertarians in charge. And I'm like, what are you thinking?
It's a Republican.
And I actually commented on there. I'm like, trust me, there is not a libertarian on the planet that wants to ban blowjobs.
Right.
Yeah.
None of them. None.
Not
None.
one.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, anybody that supported Cuccinelli is not a libertarian.
Right.
For the record, you're not.
You're
I
not
don't care
a
what you say.
libertarian.
Look, you know how many people I ended up defriending because of that?
Oh, yeah, that was a big one.
If you posted anything positive about Cuccinelli, you were gone. Gone. Like, I wasn't even messing around with that one. Again, I wasn't trying to argue with you, debate the issues, or anything like that. You liked Cuccinelli, get the hell out of here. You're going to be... Here's the thing. There's nothing that a libertarian can do for an actual libertarian. The small L, big L crap is all crap.
I hate that.
But I'm telling you what, you were not a libertarian. I don't care what you say. Oh, I believe in, he was just, I don't agree with him with everything, man. But, he was good. He was good with us, man. So, no.
No one who wants to ban blowjobs is anywhere a friend of the libertarians. And I actually hate that in the media they say the libertarian wing of the Republican Party. Okay, libertarian is an actual political party. So there can't be a wing of an actual political party inside of another political party. That's actually impossible.
The Democrat wing of the Republican Party.
Right. And if you were to say that to a Republican or that Democrat wing within the Republican Party, and they go, well, that's ridiculous. Democrats are Democrats.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. It's all the same.
Right.
There's no wings.
There's no wings. You just, and I'm like, I really, really get upset with that when you see it all and you say, like, will the libertarian wing of the Republican Party win out? No. You know why? Because that's absurd. There is no libertarian wing within the Republican Party. There may be some differences of opinion within the Republican Party, but there's not another political party inside that political party.
There may be one guy who's less of an authoritarian psychopath than another, but that does not make him
There may be some people registered in the wrong party.
Right.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Just be proud of being a Republican. If that's what you want to be, then be a Republican.
Be a
Be proud. Do that. But when you go and you talk to the vote, when you go and talk to voters, don't lie.
Right.
Don't tell them, well, I'm really a libertarian, but, we have to work within the Republican Party. No. You're a Republican who's trying to lie to someone to get them to join you in your stupid idea of taking over the GOP. Because it's a dumb idea, and Danielle did it when she did it best. The religious right couldn't do it. They got co-opted. It was the Reagan Revolution. They lost. They couldn't do it.
Goldwater
couldn't do it. None of them could do it. The reason the party exists is because of the failure of those people to get it done. And it just so happened that some people recognized it. Now, just because you're too much of a punk and you want to go, well, we got to stay with the winners for a little while. You know what I mean? You're not winning anything. Gunther, like locally, was a horrible candidate. And anybody that supported him, you sold your soul. You sold your soul. And here's the thing. The Democrats recognize that you sold your soul. You're actually hurting the movement by staying in the GOP, because if you were to take the first step and come out of it, then the Democrats that are only Democrats because they hate Republicans would see that and they'd come over as well. And we would be able to have unity. Unfortunately, you're not going to do that, but that's okay. You and your useless people can stay over where you're at, because mostly I've seen your guys' act, and it's tired and it's old. You know?
Well, that stick with the winners argument certainly explains why so many Republicans act like Democrats.
Yeah, well, no, it's red team, blue team, and the thing is, they can feel better if a Republican wins than if a Democrat wins. So they get to feel better about it, even though they know they're still losing. Where we have to be honest and say, none of these guys represent me, so my guy didn't win. They will be able to say, well, my guy won, even though it wasn't there. Again, they're very. It's like what they're doing with Trey Radel. Now they're calling Trey Radel a libertarian. Before he was a Republican, but now that he's on coke, he's a libertarian.
Yeah. Clearly, he doesn't believe in drug laws, so he must be a libertarian.
Like, that's crap. It's almost like saying like when Tiger Woods messes up, he was black, but when he was winning all the time, he was a Kabbalah Asian or whatever. Like, they only lay the label on him when he's messing up. They don't lay the label on him when he's good.
Well, and here's the thing. I can prove to you right now that Trey Radel is not a libertarian, because libertarians know the difference between alcoholism and snorting coke.
Yeah.
and libertarians know their dealer. See, if nothing else, that's why we've got to get some libertarians elected to office in Washington, D.C., so we could get some people in there to teach these congressmen how to buy drugs successfully.
You know how we know Trey Radel's a Republican? Because he's a hypocrite.
Right. That is true.
Just,
He could be a Democrat, too.
Yeah.
He could have been a Democrat.
I mean, just go around, knock on your doors, be proud, and say, hey, I'm a Republican. I want you to join that party. Find out what the voter says.
When you say that, I would take a step backwards.
I take two. and bring a shield with you, because they're probably going to throw some at you. Jerks. You guys are liars, man. I hate liars. All right. Well, that's the show for tonight. I'm sure there's nobody left listening anyway. So
I don't even know if I'm listening anymore.
I wasn't listening to most of the show, so obviously.
Apparently, he wasn't having
Until I started. I got
He
one more
wasn't
person I'm
having
blocking right now. So. I do have one more person I'm going to defriend and block, because I think I saw something good about Cuccinelli.
We gotta have like the updated list of who Alex blocked this week.
You want to do that? I'm not going to block this person. I'll just defriend them.
You should write down the people that you block, and we'll do an update every Friday. These are the people that Alex has blocked this week.
So all of you people
I have
who cannot.
By the way, I have 4,549 friends.
Wow, you're down like 400 people.
Yeah.
I
was
wish
over
I could
5
get
for
there.
a while. But I dropped
Every
a lot.
time I get my numbers down to like 4,800, I go right back up.
I hit the 5,000 cap so many times, and then I just see what I do, because I'm too lazy to clear out my friends list and do what he's doing and like actually block people myself. So what I do is I just post intentionally overly offensive posts to get people to delete me on their own.
I've done that,
that doesn't work
and you
for
know
me.
what? It doesn't work. People don't delete me.
Well, because you still keep it political. You have to go further than that to get offensive enough.
I guess. I literally, I'm like, I don't know what to do anymore. This sounds so stupid and
I mean, I post
egotistical.
things like, if something on my page offends you, blame your parents because they raised a pussy.
I've done that. I think I still go up by 2 people.
I have a question.
Okay.
Do you defriend dead people?
No.
No.
You leave them on there, right?
Forever.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I leave them on there.
And I go stalk their page and see what's new. Is anybody posting anything on here? Does somebody have their account under their control? What's going on?
I always think it's kind of
My mom used to post for my dad after he died.
Yeah.
Oh, well, she plays the like she would play the game. Like she plays a game, but then sometimes like you need help from a friend, so she would sign into his account and get the help. So all of a sudden it would say like his dad just helped his mom in this little game, and it would always be like the weirdest thing to see.
If I had control of a dead person's account, I would log into that account every day and wish everybody happy birthday. I would have to.
I don't even know what to say to that. I have no idea even how to respond to that.
I would go into that account every day, look and see whose birthday it is, and wish those people a happy birthday and log back out.
You know, I haven't seen my dad's account in a while, by the way.
I'm sure he's playing the game.
Wait till your birthday.
He's feeding monsters, man.
He's crushing candy.
We're still friends. He was in Vegas in 2012. What the hell was he doing in Vegas in 2012?
Kicking at the lid.
Damn it.
He's having a lot of fun for a
He's
dead
having a lot
guy.
of good-
Weekend at Bernie's.
That's amazing.
Has any of his picture, like, does your mom, like, change his profile picture or anything? That would be weird. Did you just post something on his wall?
Yeah, I put miss you.
Ah, well, that's sweet.
Nothing. I didn't want to go crazy.
Because, like, talking to a dead guy is
Wait. Did your dad post something about Rand Paul?
He shared a link via Bruce Fisher. It's weird. This is like July and August. And like August again. August 15th.
See, that's the stuff I'd be doing.
Like here, like what is this? Who's posting this crap?
So now,
It's kind of pissing me off.
Your mom's got to be
Oh,
posting
Carrie
it.
had something to do with this. That's what it is. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Why would Carrie be posting? What is going on here? I don't know what this is. I don't know what is going on here.
I don't actually.
Oh, Jason. Oh, that's funny. I'm sorry. I'm totally going off subject now.
can we just wrap up this show?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. All right. Off the rails. Hope you guys had a good time. Hope you wanted to listen. Go to facebook.com, the 1787 Network. And we will see you guys for Liberty Underground on Friday. This week, Ben Swan. Always going to be a
Oh,
good
yeah.
time.
Ben Swan's on this week.
Hopefully
Oh,
we
there's
have
the
something good to talk to him
announcement. Blew the secret, but yes.
Well, it
Oh,
wasn't
we weren't
a
going to make that a
secret. I was
secret.
going to promote it.
Want people to listen.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.